Just what has the week been like for you emotionally, just personally?
A little tumultuous, obviously. You know, when you work for a guy for 10 years, he gives you your start at high major basketball. He allows you to change, the wealth for your family for years to come. He mentors you and gives you some opportunities that you didn't have. It hurts to see him hurt and to see him step down in the fashion that he did. So it's been a rough week, not only for myself. I can care less about myself. You know, it's my responsibility to be here for these young men. And that's who I feel for the most because they've been through a lot. They've been through more than arguably any other team in the country, given our circumstances. So, in my mind, I'm just trying to, stand tall, stand in, be there for them, be a sounding board. Whatever they need from me, I'm here, So it's been a rough week, but it's life, it's how it goes.
This obviously is different because the first 6 games you're waiting on somebody to come back, and that's not the case now. But does the experience the first 6 games help just being thrust into this now?
Yeah, I can literally say it's not my first rodeo. Right? It's not. I haven't done it, for years. Like the guy I'm going to be coaching against tomorrow, he's the GOAT. I get that. But at least I've done it before. So there is some comfortability in knowing that.
Mike, when did you find out from Coach Mack, or how did you kind of find out from Josh or whatever? Can you take us through that process? And then have you, obviously the guys have been through a lot, as you said, this week. Have you met individually with the guys, or has it all been as a team?
So working backwards, we met as a team, I believe, on Wednesday evening around 6 o'clock. Guys had been through a lot. We were scheduled to practice. I called practice off. Just felt like it was an emotional day. And guys needed to decompress and, be with one another and get some things off their chest. And, it was a rough day, so I didn't think we could, really get a good practice in that day. So I found out the day before. Coach reached out to me. We just talked briefly, and he just said, Mike, I'm just a little tired and things are rough right now. And, just wanted to know that he supported me, which meant a lot to me, for him to have to go through what he was going through at the time and to still have full support of me. So that meant a lot to me. But, like I said, we spent some time as a team, as a staff. Our administration, Josh Hurd in particular, has been phenomenal throughout this entire experience. If anybody can speak to what it's like to have to step in and steady the ship, it's him. And he's been of great support to us and helping us get through this. And we're all, coming together and standing shoulder to shoulder. And, I think this will ultimately bring us together more than it will divide us.
How were those practices, or how? I mean, I guess you've only had one. How was it?
Yeah, it was great. I thought it was really good. Everything considered, right? You worry about guys' minds straying and not being locked in, and so I told him, I said, hey, on Wednesday night, let's get everything off our chest. Let's air whatever grievances we may have. Let's say whatever we have to say, because come Saturday at noon, the Duke Blue Devils will not care about our emotions. They will not. And we need to get all of this off of our chest now, because we need to have a great practice tomorrow, and obviously we need to have a great practice this afternoon.
Chris said the other day that this had been building for a while. Did you sense that it was close to the end, maybe in mid-season, and did you ever have to talk him off the ledge?
Never had to talk him off the ledge. Didn't necessarily sense the gravity of how Coach felt. I could tell that he was a little off. It's not easy to come back from a 6-game suspension and have to take over a team that is in a different place than he left it. To have to relearn a playbook that had changed drastically in those 6 games. We had to put a lot of stuff in offensively and defensively. Some of our language changed, concepts, and he was playing catch-up. And he had never dealt with that before, and I can't imagine going through that experience myself and how hard that would be. And so I think that and, several other factors, COVID, the whole nine, just weighed on him heavily, and and I get it. He's human.
Yeah, Mike, you were with Chris at Xavier. He had tremendous success there. He's had some success here. This is a pretty dramatic end to the way nobody really thought this was coming. Are there one or two things that you think happened along the way that helped lead to this kind of an ending?
Not in particular. I'll just say that, like, the first 2 years, I thought that we had two really good ball clubs. Like, I thought we did a lot more with less our first year. We were an NCAA tournament team. Nobody wants to lose in the first round. I understand that that's not the expectation here, but I thought that we did a really good job given our circumstances that first year. Our second year, we had a really good team, and we were primed to do some really special things. And then COVID hit, and it hit everybody. So, I'm not trying to make any exceptions for Coach because everybody's been afflicted by COVID in one form or the other. But it really took a lot out of our team and out of our development. And obviously we didn't meet the bill. We didn't fit the bill last year. And this year, the suspension, and we get off to a really good start, 5-1 under my leadership. But then Coach comes back and he's trying to play catch up, and again, he never quite got caught up. And it's a unique team. He's never coached a team that had 8 newcomers under the circumstances that we've been faced with this year, coming back from a suspension. And so the stability, the leadership, the foundation has been lacking on this team, not all because of Coach. It's been a little bit of everybody who's taken part in that. And obviously we have to get that back intact if we're going to finish this season the right way, which we fully expect to do.
Mike, is there any part of you that looks at what you did at the beginning and what you have to do now as a chance to put yourself in the mix to be the head coach here permanently?
Yeah, we got to get back to defending. I thought that we at least by the time that we got to the Bahamas, we certainly weren't perfect against Southern, obviously not against Furman. I thought we played well against Navy. Didn't play very well against Detroit, but we won. And then all of a sudden, something started to click. I don't know if it was getting out of the yum and getting away. Obviously, that breeze over the Bahamas is nice. You guys get away, they enjoy themselves, they get to know each other a little more, and we had a good thing going. And we definitely want to get that rhythm back, but at the end of the day, that's in the past. This is now. And me assuming the duties of head coach, and all of a sudden just going to bring back that November mentality that we had, which was defending, rebounding, competing at a high level. I thought that we played together. We played hard. We were nasty. Again, I'm thinking more about the Bahamas than those previous 4 games, but I thought that we had an energy and a connectivity about us that we haven't had in some time, and we have to find that. And we've been talking a lot about that the last couple of days, and hopefully we can find that by tomorrow afternoon at 12 o'clock.
What I'm asking is, do you view this as a chance to present yourself as a candidate to be the head coach at Louisville permanently after the season?
You know what? I'll be honest with you. I don't care about that. I really don't. I want to beat Duke, and beating Duke and winning other games beyond that puts me in that position. Great, but I have no ambition of doing anything other than being there for these young men and beating Duke on Saturday. I'm going 1 hour at a time, not even 1 day at a time.
Mike, in almost every press conference since the Bahamas, inconsistency, everybody says it. Chris would say it, the players would say it. How do you get rid of that now moving on? Because it's been, those scoring droughts or the defensive stuff, it's all been inconsistencies. How do you do that and move on?
Yeah, that's a great question, Jody. I think that's the $1 million question. Obviously, we don't want to go 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes without scoring the ball. We don't want teams to come down conversely and just get basket after basket. We have to be able to do a better job of consistently getting stops, concentrating, staying locked in throughout the entire shot clock, not losing concentration off the ball, not running into a screen, obviously not giving up anything early. We have to put it all together, possession by possession. As far as offensively, we're still going to play in a very similar fashion. We still want to play fast. I want to embolden our guys to feel confident out there and to share the ball and play with one another and be aggressive. And if you make a mistake of commission, I'm good with that. Just don't make mistakes of omission, right? Let's be engaged. Let's get after it. Let's get in the paint. Let's land. Let's get multiple paint touches. Let's spray that thing out and make one more passes. let's be aggressive around the rim and not get the ball knocked out of our hands and make layups. And obviously we got to start to make some wide open shots as well. But to me, everything starts on the defensive end. You know, Coach Ross will do an excellent job of spearheading our offense. We're going to collaborate on that, of course. And I'm really going to coach our defense hard, and I'm going to coach effort hard, and our ability to rebound on both backboards. I'm all over that. I'm all over that. And so that's where it starts for me. That's how you build a foundation. That's how you build an identity.
Malik said you told him everybody kind of starts over. I mean,
Yeah.
rotations and things like that. Does
Yeah.
it kind of start over right now?
Yeah, who's playing well? That's how I feel. You know, everybody's had a lot to say about rotations. If you're playing well and you're meeting the baseline expectations, your stretch will be longer. Fact of the matter is we have 11, 12 guys, 13. I'm not going to forget about Gabe and JJ, who I know haven't played very much. But we have 11 guys that we've been playing pretty consistently. And on a given night, any one of those guys can help us win a game. And I want to, you know, this time of the year, you know, honestly, Jody, it's hard to say, you know, practice is the end-all, be-all for who plays, but it's certainly going to be a measuring stick that we use. And then ultimately performance, productivity, who's playing well, who is at least meeting those baseline expectations of guarding the ball, knowing his defensive responsibilities, rebounding, and making those effort plays. Those are the guys that are going to play.
Coach, consistency, and I've spoke to the players about the new offense. So I'm going to ask you now, as you're the head coach, do you think that the offense has put players in positions to not be successful? Turning the ball over, big people trying to dribble it on the perimeter, trying to attack the basket. Do you think the offense has had anything to do with the inconsistency?
Well, our offense hasn't been great, goes without saying. But I think it's more to it. I think that we haven't done some really fundamental things well. I don't think that we've screened bodies very well. I don't think that we've understood the importance of, hey, I have to get my teammate open right here. I have to set up my cut. I have to finish my cut. I have to pass the ball in that guy's shooting pocket so that he can get a good look. I have to catch it clean. When I drive the ball, I have to keep it tight to my body and low so that I don't get it knocked out of my hands, right? It's to me, it's old school fundamentals, and we haven't taken enough pride in those things. So to me, it's not necessarily the scheme. It's more so the fact that fundamentally we have to be a lot more solid, and as a coaching staff, we have to continue to challenge our players to understand the importance of that and understand how that leads to efficient offense. So, you know, it's a collective effort. We have to be much better on the offensive end. You know, everybody wants to see the ball go in the hole, no more than me. And in order for us to do that, we have to be more fundamentally sound.
Mike, back here. Chris and Malik spoke on your ability to try and connect with players, drawing off your experiences and being pretty raw in doing that. Can you describe your approach and how you think you try to connect with these guys that resonates?
Well, you know, my playing experience helps a lot. You know, I was literally born with a basketball in my hand, and so I draw back to the people that poured into me from a very young age. My mom and my dad both played ball. My high school coach is a Hall of Famer, Morgan Wooden. My college coach, Mike Bray, is obviously instrumental in my development as a player, and here, you know, recently as a coach, I have a huge network of coaches that I can rely on. But at the end of the day, everybody to a man has told me, hey, Mike, be yourself. Being you is good enough. And when I think about that, I just think about being incredibly genuine and coming from the heart and thinking about how I should have attacked some things as a player and how I would have attacked some things as a player. And so when I see guys slipping in practice and I see a lack of concentration, or I see a guy's enthusiasm and energy diminish because something isn't going his way, those are things that I want to address in particular. We need a bunch of guys that are steady. We've talked about it a lot. I'm sure you've heard it. We need everyday guys that are committed to coming in here and working hard every day, concentrating, having a level of professionalism about them, showing up, being ready to get after it, get after each other, playing for one another, understanding the basic fundamentals of the game, what our game plan is, our foundation on both ends of the floor. You know, I know I said a lot, but I'm not going to complicate it. We got to play hard. We got to make effort plays. We got to understand what we're doing on offense and defense. Then we got to do our job.
Okay, last two, right? We got to get him out of here.
Gotcha. You've known Chris obviously for a long time, Mike. Do you think he'll be coaching basketball again down the road?
I certainly hope so because he's a great coach. You know, you don't go to Elite Eights and Sweet 16s and multiple NCAA tournaments without being a great coach. So I don't know when it'll be or if it'll whatever be, you know, a thing again, him coaching on that sideline. But I certainly hope he does.
Mike, going back to the Malik said the team felt good in the summer, and then the suspension changed everything, is what Malik said. Do you feel like that time with Chris away changed everything and kind of the trajectory of this season?
I think it had a larger impact on our team than I expected it would. I think it had a huge impact, as I said before, on Coach, having to try to play catch-up, having to, just reassert himself with a group that had gotten used to me, that had gotten used to a different way, a slightly different way. It's not like I changed everything, but it was just hard on him, hard on the guys. He steps back in. Next thing you know, we're at Michigan State. Matt Cross makes a huge shot at NC State, but it's been rocky trying to get things back online. And it's unfortunate what happened, but, as I said, we got to play the hand that we've been dealt, and, we got to be able to press forward. Like, we're not making any excuses. Like, no way. No way. Like, bad things happen to a lot of good people, and I think we got a lot of good people in that locker room and in our facility, and we'll figure out a way to get this thing right.
Real quick, you mentioned Mike Bray. You talk about Coach Wooten. What about Shaka Smart?
Yeah.
How much of an impact he had? And do you keep in touch with him? Is he a guy you kind of reach out to? And
Shaka is a great resource for me. He really knows who he is as a person and as a coach. He's extremely confident. Going back to his first year as a head coach, I remember him exuding that confidence and really understanding his job responsibilities and the importance of building meaningful relationships with the players and not making it so much about X's and O's as much as he did about really getting to know his players so that he knew how to push their buttons and get them to play at their maximum effort. You recruit talented enough players, if you can get them to play hard and work hard, the X's and O's will kind of take care of themselves. So he's been great for me. He told me in my first stint, hey, just double down on what you guys really believe in after we lost to Furman. And that's exactly what we did. And we won 4 in a row after that. And, he's awesome for me.
Great. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.